What is up, guys? Diego here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 2 years later, follow-up to gastritis. And I know the gastritis video on my channel has been the most popular, so obviously you guys are interested in it because you have gastritis or you're going through it or know someone that is. So I wanted to give you guys an update 2 years later on 5 things that you can do to overcome gastritis. Now, obviously, I put out some videos earlier. I still believe in those videos, but I believe through trial and error experimentation that there are some better ways to help you overcome gastritis, and I wanted to share those with you now. Now, the first one that's really important for you guys to do, and look, you may or may not agree with me, but you need to get a food sensitivity test if you've been diagnosed with gastritis. For me, when I got diagnosed with gastritis, a doctor handed me a form, and he said, hey, these are the recommended foods, this diet that you can go on for gastritis. And a lot of the foods on there, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good, sounds easy enough. And I kept having symptoms. I was like, I was not getting better. I took the food sensitivity test, and lo and behold, I had food sensitivities to tons of the foods that I was eating, including bone broth, which the bone broth that I was getting had carrots in it. Carrots happen to be my highest sensitivity. Okay, so I got rid of that bone broth and I got just a plain, just good old-fashioned bone broth, and props to you if you can actually make it yourself. So that's the first thing you do. I have a link in my description below if you want to get the same food sensitivity test that I did. It's down there. It's by a company called Everlywell. Super simple. They ship you out like this little packet. You prick your finger, doesn't hurt. You put that on a little test strip and then you send it back and you get your results. They're all online, so you can always reference them. Really simple, and it really helped me out a lot. It was really instrumental in me getting to eat the right foods, not just this like stupid pamphlet that my doctor gave me that never followed up or just didn't care. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, you may or may not agree with, but look, this is what worked for me, and it does make a lot of sense. When you start to think about it, it's something that's not as popular because, doctors just don't recommend it or whatever. Like, look, you need to go and do what's right for you. Don't be a sheep in this whole situation and just follow what everyone else is saying. Do your research and figure out what's going to work for you and what's going to get you better, because ultimately you're in charge of your own life. Don't be a sheep. So the thing that I think helped me the most was fasting. And I would do intermittent fasting. So I would not eat for 16 hours, and then I would eat for 8. So super simple. If you stop eating around like 4 o'clock, you can probably eat around 9 in the morning or so. So not too bad. And the really important thing that you do is take some bone broth as your last like meal or calories of the day, and then when you start to eat again, have a little bit of bone broth as well. It'll really settle your stomach down, and it'll coat your stomach. When you think about it, right, when an animal is sick, what does it do? It doesn't eat, right? Or it'll eat grass. Same premise here. You're giving your stomach a chance to relax, because what we're doing when we keep eating and eating and eating is you're not giving your stomach a break. Your stomach has to produce acid to break down this stuff. So it's working, right? So we want to give it as much of a break as we can while staying nourished and healthy. So intermittent fasting, I believe, was what helps me probably the most in this whole process. Alright guys, third thing that's super important is get rid of sugars, okay? Sugars are the enemy here, and essentially what happens when you consume sugar, it's not easily digested by the body if it's not used right away for fuel. So what happens is it goes into your bloodstream and it produces a byproduct called cytokines, and cytokines go off into your bloodstream and they attack things. So what happens is your white blood cells wage war and they fight. And when there's a fight going on in your body, it causes inflammation, and that's what produces symptoms. So if your hands have been hurting, if you aren't sleeping, if you feel like your feet are burning, like all these different symptoms, if you're feeling depressed or down or brain fog, that's because there's a war going on in your body, and you giving it added sugars and fuel to add to that fire, that war is not good. So stay away from sugars as much as you can. There's a video I made that suggested some foods that I ate. Looking back, I would have cut some of those out because they contain sugar. So eat Really healthy stuff that I would say stick to lean cuts of meat. So chicken, some fish is really good. Stick with some carbs that are like easy on your stomach that aren't going to bloat you. Stay away from wheat, so gluten, and stay away from sugar and dairy. Like main thing, right? Also acidic stuff, and don't drink anything but water. Those are definitely that's baseline gastritis, and you probably heard that in a bunch of other videos, but must do. What I'm going to do is come out with another video on what to eat when you have gastritis. I want to update it because I feel like there's some better options for you. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you subscribe below. I'll upload that in the next couple days. Okay, number 4 is definitely exercise. When I had gastritis, I was so like down, depressed, tired that I didn't really make time for exercise, and I just kept wallowing and just looking stuff up on WebMD and like what do I have, like what are my symptoms, and I didn't take time to exercise. Working out will help you release endorphins. It's good for your stomach, right? Like it's going to settle your stomach, especially if you have a hiatal hernia. It's going to start knocking that down if you start to run or walk or work out. There's so many benefits to working out, and that's something that I regret not doing earlier on. Start with walking. If you're not in shape right now, what I did when I first started, I was about 30 pounds overweight, almost high blood pressure, and what I did was I just started walking. I put on my headphones, put on my favorite podcast, and I started walking around the street. And maybe for like an hour or so each morning when it was nice and early, I'd finish my podcast and I'd come back and I felt so much better. So start exercising if you haven't already. That is essential. All right, guys, and tip number 5 is stop Googling. When I was sick, I did this a million times, and it's probably how you got to this video. You're trying to figure out what's going to get you better, and what do you have? Could it be this? Could it be that? That anxiety and that stress is compounding on this gastritis. That anxiety and that stress is what's going to release more stomach acid. When you're nervous, that butterfly feeling. Well, it's not butterflies, it's more stomach acid. And the stomach acid is actually making the whole situation worse, and your stomach is going to hurt more, etc., etc. Not to mention, it just wears on you, right? It gets in your head, it just beats you down, keeps you depressed. You don't want to do anything. Stop Googling right now, right? You know everything you need to know. You have gastritis, you need to eat healthy, you need to work out, take a food sensitivity test, make sure you know that you're eating all the right stuff and that you're not sensitive to it, because if you are sensitive, it's going to cause more inflammation, which we don't want. Stay away from sugar, and lastly, stop Googling, right? So those are the things that really helped me out. I remember going down some crazy wormholes when I was Googling crap just in my bed for hours and hours. I would wake up at night, my stomach hurt. I'm like, oh my God, do I have this? Do I have that? Reading the Reddit forums, going on YouTube. So look, I did it. I'm not faulting you at all. And if that's how you got here, good. You found it, right? You found the ways to get over it. So as soon as you start to think and go down that path, just get off track. Go work out. Go meditate. Go listen to a podcast. Think about something else. I know your stomach hurts, and mine did for a long time too, but it does pass. Everything does pass. You've never heard of someone having gastritis for their whole lives. So those are the 5 tips to help. If you're interested in hearing more content, please subscribe to my channel. If this video helped you out, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.